Hello, this is the new Samick Vision Recurve riser that came out earlier this year. There's never any instructions in the boxes, so I'm going to take this opportunity to show you all of the adjustments of it, string it up, so if you do decide to have one, you know what you're doing with it. I brought three of the risers over. We've got a red one, a blue one and a black one. Gold is also an option sometimes, but these are the three colours that are usually available. You'll notice when they come, they're all packaged differently. Sometimes they'll be in a bit of bubble wrap with a sleeve underneath. Sometimes they're in the sleeve, and sometimes you don't even get a sleeve. So it's a bit random how they do turn up. This one's got the Allen keys in a box, this one in a plastic bag. Well, they arrive in good condition, so you don't need to worry about that. You're just lucky whether you get a sleeve or not. I'm going to set the red one up. What stands out on immediate inspection with this bow is that the finish is really quite good. It's an anodised finish. Most bows in this price point, in fact all bows in this price point, are usually painted. This is the first one that's got an anodised finish, and a nice anodised finish as well. It's polished, not really many blemishes on that. Looks really good. Wooden grip as standard, which is quite unique again for a bow of this price point. It's not the best finished wooden grip, there's a few little nicks in the wood around the top. Reasonably comfortable. Nice thing about a wooden grip is you can shave it a bit, play with it, get it to fit your hand as you like. It's 25 inches long, which means you can make a 66-inch bow, a 68 or a 70, which covers most lengths of bow. If you're looking for a 23-inch riser, it's not available, I'm sorry to say. Neither it is available in left-handed. So right-handed only, and the weight we have 1230 grams. And I've weighed a few other risers, and that's right smack in the middle. Not heavy, not light. Typical weight for a recurve riser. What you have to check though with these is that they're not really factory set. I've noticed always that the limb bolts come maxed out in the maximum position, and they're not even tightened up, so they're just done finger tight, so they're loose, and we'll have to set those. Same with the limb alignment, I'll show you that later as well, that is not really factory set. You've got about a 50-50 chance if you just string this up out of the box that it's going to come up straight with the correct tiller on it. So you have to assume that you're going to need to adjust that when you get it. The tiller bolt here, it comes maxed out, and because there's no instructions it doesn't tell you how to adjust it. So there is a limit of adjustment. So I've worked out that 4 full turns from the maximum down position, in my judgment, is what the minimum setting of that bow could be. So if we were to do those bolts up to the maximum position, and we undid it 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, class that as a minimum, absolute minimum setting you can set. And that's often where the limb bolt just is showing flush with the top of the riser here as well. Now I'm going to set this at the midway position, and it's only a guess because when we put the limbs on, the tiller is likely to need adjusting. So I wound it down to the maximum position. 1, 2 turns, and using the big Allen key that comes with the bow, just tighten up the set screw on the back. Just nip it up, you don't have to tighten it, we'll probably have to move that again later. Same with the bottom. We're hard down on the bottom. 1, 2 full turns. Nip it up. That's the limb bolt set, just as a start position. The limb alignment, this is a dowel here, which can move left and right to adjust your limb alignment. And this is very critical that this is set perfectly. And I've noticed that some of them, when we string a bow up, the limbs aren't aligned. And it's not through the riser being offline at all, it's through this adjustment not being set. So what I'll do, I'll disassemble this unit here so you can see what it looks like. And you need, well, apart from needing 3 hands, you need 2 Allen keys. one on each side. I'm going to hold that, and some of the risers that use this method of left-right adjustment usually have washers that you can shift one way or the other, or locks where it would lock down solid. I'm just going to disassemble this completely, and you'll see there's a dowel there. So that dowel controls the left-right location of where your limb position is going to be. And there are no washers, only the thread of the screws which controls the position. So if that was in position here, you've got fresh air between the outside washer, then you get the thread and the dowel. So we have to shift that along the thread to line it up. Once it's set, I've not had any problems with it moving, but it's not an absolute rock solid tighten it up as hard as you can setting. You can over tighten this. Remember, it's only on the threads that's holding it in position. So although you can do it up snug and tight enough so it doesn't vibrate undone, you don't want to crunch it down with all your strength, because you're going to pull those threads. I'm just going to roughly line that up by eye, which is I think all they do at the factory. It doesn't seem that they assemble the bows or use a machine to line it up. So just a start position, making sure that the dowel is flat, because you can rotate it. Don't want it tilted, so just judge it to be flat. And using both Allen keys, just nip it up in position. Careful it doesn't rotate again. And we will need to adjust that when we strung it up, so I don't need to do it very hard. So I just nip that up there. I'm going to string it up with some of the Samick Vision recurve limbs. We'll review these limbs separately. These are a really good limb as well. You really can't beat Samick for mid-price bows. We've always liked them. It's an impressive limb from Samick, matches the bow nicely. And we always seem to come back to the fact with Samick that pound for pound, if you compare it to other bows of its type, you seem to get a lot more product for your money. Now this is the clicker extension here. Comes with a little posi drive, screw head on the top there. Just going to screw that on there to the cutout. Goes in. That fitted in nicely, no problems. Limb fitting, got the top limb. Making sure the dovetail's engaged. Popped in quite nice. Yeah, a little bit tight. Always prefer them a bit on the tight side. That was a bit tighter. That's going to wear after a bit. Better to be tight. That'll go in and out a bit easier once it's been done a few times. Just have a feel of the fit on that. Yep, good fit. String it up with a String Flex Supra bowstring. This is a top quality string. It's only worth spending a few extra quid on a good string if you budget or stretch to it. It makes a difference to the sound of the bow, the speed of the bow, and these pre-stretched strings don't creep anywhere near as much either. A nice red and black one to match. Okay, top loop. I'm assuming you guys know how to string a bow, and if not, I'll have to do a video on how to string a bow. So let me just string this up. Now we've strung the bow. If you don't know how to string a bow, you must use a bow stringer always to string a bow. Don't try and do it on your foot or bend it around the back of your leg. Have a look on our website for instructions on how to string a bow, or I'm sure there's some videos on YouTube already that will help you do that. So from that position, first thing I like to check is the tiller difference and the brace height, and both of those items are adjusted with these bolts that we've shown you earlier, which are not usually set in the right position. So first of all, brace height. This one is 7 3/4, and looking at how the string rolls around the limb tip, that brace height's a bit low. So when I de-string that bow, I'm going to twist the string up. I want to bring that brace height up to about 8.5 inches. Tiller, which is the difference in measurement between where the limb leaves the riser here and the bowstring, top and bottom. We need to have approximately 1/4 inch smaller measurement on the bottom than we have on the top. And measuring this, we have 6 inches on the top and 6 inches on the bottom. So that would be called an equal tiller. However, we need to have a tiller set 1/4 inch lower on the bottom to compensate for how we draw a bow. When we draw a bow, we bend the bottom limb a greater distance than the top limb. So we set the tiller smaller at the bottom, so by the time we've got to full draw and we put the strange pressures on of how we pull a bow, the limb should be bent the same. So I'm going to adjust that now. I don't recommend trying to adjust the tiller while the bow is strung, because the limb bolt will scratch the paint on the limb. So I'm going to de-string the bow and show you what adjustments to make next.